Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Stood. I also teach community development. In community development, I have community development 1 and 2. But first of all, I will tell you what community development is. Community development is the process of social action in which the people of a community organize themselves for planning and action. That's all community development is. Okay? I'll say it again. The process of social action in which the people of a community organize themselves for planning and action. And I cover community development 1, community development 2, and I also cover thriving communities. But first of all, I will give you just the basic core of agenda for community development 1. In community development 1, I have the introduction, perspective, the components of community development, making community development happen, roles of economic developer, the challenge of community development in economic practice, principles of good practice in community development, identifying community assets, making wise group decisions. One thing I want to talk about in making wise group decisions, I have something called the 8-step solving process. And I think this is a great example. You can take this process into any particular field or category you desire. Now, with the 8-step solving process as an example, it goes in depth for step 1. First of all, in step 1, you have to understand the action. The first thing is you have to identify and define the problem. Over here in step 1 are the questions to ask. And I'm only going to do one to give you an idea. It tells you what you must do first, identify it and define the problem. Step 1, questions to ask when you identify and define the problem are here. Very simple. I'll do one. When you understand what the problem is, you have to ask yourself, what is going on that isn't acceptable? Or what isn't happening that should be? That's the first question. Next is, what is the impact or the effect of that problem? What would happen if nothing was done and nothing changed? Next is the problem recognized by the entire team or only by certain individuals? And last but not least, is there willingness and energy to deal with the problem? Now, those particular questions are only for the first step. And that first step was identify and define the problem. But I'll do one more. Step 2. Once you identified and defined the problem and you went through the questions to ask, step 1, if step 1 matches step 1 here. Step 2, action, determine a criteria for a good solution. So in order to determine the criteria for a good solution, these are the questions to ask. Step 2 matches step 2 here. Now step 2 questions to ask is as follows. This also applies to 3, but I'm going to stop at 2. What are the essential criteria that must be met for any solution that would be considered acceptable? Okay? I'm not going to go to step 3, we're only going to stop at step 2. That is the question for step 2. Now, we also have some poverty sessions to deal with poverty. We go down to leadership sessions, and all of these have links on the various scenarios that I'll be teaching. We also go down to move into action. These particular subjects, volunteer motive, public participation. Okay? But this is basically community development 1. Take my course and you'll go in depth for all of these. So I'm going to come out of the community development 1 and go to community development 2. Now community development 2 is a little different.